Mano Ganeshan, leader of Democratic People's Front, is now joining us. Mr. Ganeshan, your first up reaction on the state of anarchy that you're seeing in Sri Lanka right now, and the protesters now have stormed into the Prime Minister's office as well, Mr. Ganeshan.
I'm worried about it, first of all. Then I'm relieved that President Gotabaya Rajapaksa is not in the country. He has gone away, ran away. But however, we as the law-abiding citizens and parliamentarians, we seek a quicker end to this crisis situation. We have a roadmap with the parliament. Just spoke to the speaker and the speaker recorded from the roadmap. The chaos would come to end by 20th for next week, Wednesday. Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Ganeshan, you've taken to Twitter, and I'm right now on your Twitter at this point of time, where you have congratulated the protesters as well for staging this kind of protest at this point of time, saying that Sri Lanka shall be a secular state and multi-ethnic, multi-religious, multi-linguistic state. You've also gone ahead and congratulated the protest movement for their achievements as well. Any reason why you call this an achievement?
But yesterday the opposition party leaders met, were invited by the protest movement, a part of the protest movement, maybe the major part of the protest movement. We met and explained, they exchanged the documentations and policies and views. So therefore at that meeting I had to tell this as the leader of the Tamil Progressive Alliance. While supporting, congratulating and sending greetings to the protesters, I have also said that their documentation and their views are not complete, because there is a need for the Tamil and the minority communities living in Sri Lanka, whose aspirations also should be included, so that we can, the crisis would bring a change, the change would be a progressive change. That's what I said in my tweet, that Sri Lanka shall be a secular state, and also should be accepted as a multi-ethnic, multi-linguistic, multi-religious state. That's diversity of Sri Lanka should be celebrated as what is happening in India.
But Mr. Ganeshan, the reason why this particular protest is taking place is obviously because of the whole host of corruption charges on the Sri Lankan leadership and the kind of debt that your country is spiraling in, and hence, so why do you bring the secularism element in this, the multi-religious, multilingualism element into this?
Yeah, nice question. Because this whole process of this crisis, or the way say this protest, started because of the shortages of essential goods. I mean, food, medicine, fuel, gas, cooking gas, all went out of stock. So therefore, people came onto the street. When Gotabaya Rajapaksa was installed as the president in 2019, people knew that he was corrupt. People knew, the voters I mean, they knew that he had human rights violation charges against him. People knew he had war crime charges against him. People knew he was corrupt, and his elder brother Mahindra Rajapaksa was also corrupt. People knew everything. But they knowingly they voted, because he won the war against LTT. And it is LTT was a terrorist movement they considered. But however, when they won over the LTT, it transformed that war against victory against Tamils. So, end of the day, in my view, and view of all the Tamil and Muslim politicians mostly, is that this crisis, the root cause of the crisis is nothing but the unresolved ethnic issue. Therefore, I need to remind the new protesters, the youngsters, or young generation, to what the real root cause is. That is my duty. If I do not do that, I will fail in my duty. Yeah,
Mr. Ganeshan, do you feel this is good riddance to the Rajapaksas, and what next is on everyone's mind as far as Sri Lanka is concerned? Because here, the entire nation has overthrown this particular government as well. In that sense, there is democracy which is prevailing in all true sense. But what's your view on what is likely to happen next, Mr. Ganeshan?
Yes, we have a roadmap, I said. Now, last 11th, couple of days before, the party leaders met at the parliament, chaired by the speaker, Mahindra Yapa, and we had a roadmap, assuming that President Gotabaya Rajapaksa would resign today. So far he has not resigned, he has only gone out of the country and appointed Ranil Wickremesinghe, the Prime Minister, as the acting president. But yes, right now, couple of minutes before, the Speaker came out and said that he has been telephoned by the President Rajapaksa from outside the country, and said before end of the day, before end of today, before end of 13th, he will tender official resignation. So let us assuming he will resign, he said on the 15th, on this Friday, Parliament will be meeting. We will convene the Parliament, and formally the Secretary General of the Parliament will inform the parliamentarians of the resignation of the President. Then there will be vacancy. Though Ranil Wickremesinghe is acting President, he will remain as acting President, not the President. So, but then again, the next week, then Tuesday 19th, Parliament will reconvene, and anybody who wanted to contest for the presidency should submit their candidature. So, as per Sri Lankan law, President is elected into power universally. People get a vote. But once, when going through the tenure, if there's a vacancy occurs with death or by fleeing or resignation, then there will be election. The Parliament will convene and elect the person as the President, and that President will remain for the remaining period of time. So, right. 2 years. So, 19th we will convene. Anybody can submit their application for contest. And 20th again, next day, Wednesday we will convene. Okay. 20th we will elect, the parliamentarians will elect the President.
No, that's clarity. That's good clarity coming in. And what's your message going out to all the protesters right there in your country? Because now they've gone into the Prime Minister's office and completely hijacked that too.
Because the protesters have already gone into the President's Secretariat some days before, and also went into the President's official residence. Today they've gone into the Prime Minister's. Well, now he's not only the Prime Minister, he's acting President. He's anyway, Prime Minister's official Secretariat, and gone into them. But we need to keep this transition in a smooth, legal manner. Because Sri Lanka, always you have seen, we had the war for 30 years. We had insurgencies in the south. But yet, every time Sri Lanka, the transfer of power or the new governments came through only through election. We are proud of it. In South Asia, only India and Sri Lanka maintain this record. Say, take Pakistan, take Bangladesh, take Maldives, take Nepal. There have been revolutions, military takeovers, nothing so happened. But Sri Lanka we never happened there. But during the war, also we conducted elections. So Sri Lankans, as Sri Lankan legislators, we wish the transition period, transaction from one regime to other regime, one president to other president should occur legally, smoothly.
Do you think, Mr. Ganeshan, that this particular dramatic turn that is coming in against the Rajapaksas today in Sri Lanka is serving as perhaps a warning to governments all around the world on the dangers that they are facing as food and fuel prices are soaring?
Yeah, but one thing I must bring to notice, because we have been meeting, this has been certified by the ambassadors and high commissioners in Colombo, because Sri Lankan, the protest movement had been a model protest movement for the world, at least the world of this side, this region, because such protest movements, protests and revolutions, or whatever you call, occur all over the world. Everywhere, take it, Africa, South America, or even Europe, or East Asia, anywhere, these protest movements bring deaths, violence, cuts of violence. But Sri Lanka, you are comparatively less violence. We have seen burning down of the official residence, private residence of the Prime Minister, and elsewhere some residences of the MPs and ministers earlier, on the May 9th, when the protesters were attacked by the goons sent from Rajapaksas. But even those violators who are responsible for the arson are not part of this protest movement. The members of the protest movement have been always conducting their protests in a peaceful, democratic, lovely, colorful manner. That has been certified by the ambassadors and high commissioners who officiating from Colombo. They have spoken to me personally and told me because they are happy, they're proud, because Sri Lankan protest movement had been a model protest movement to the whole world. So that's fine. There is certification. So less violence, less deaths, less blood we have seen. But
Yes.
the change is grand.
Absolutely, Mr. Ganeshan.